Hi, sir.
Yeah, okay, so sorry about that. We're talking about the pricing methods. Competitive pricing is usually used for products that are not special, and there's a lot of them in the market made by different businesses, like toothpaste, like pasta, and so on. So what you do is that you have to make your prices very similar to the prices of the products that are already available in the market. So if you end up with your own pasta business, you should not have pasta that are more expensive than the ones currently in the market. And this is what you see if you go shopping in any conventional store or supermarket. You would see that you might have like 1,000 or 2,000 dinars difference, but it's not a lot of difference. The difference is not a lot. The reason is that these products are very price sensitive. If they're too expensive, then people might sacrifice a little bit of better taste for a cheaper offer. So that's one reason some businesses use this competitive pricing. So another type of business that are latecomers usually end up having competitive pricing, meaning the market is already dominated by other businesses, so they should not have prices that are higher than those. Yeah. And then lastly, promotional pricing. Last time we talked about this, I told you that this is not a method in itself, and it's not a fixed price on the product. So listen, none of these methods work for businesses forever. Like you might have, obviously, some businesses might use price skimming for a while, but they might have to change to competitive pricing based on the changes that will happen to the market, what people think about their business, how many competitors emerge in the market, and so on. This sorry, this last one depends on the business's position or status in the market. So any offers like buy one get one free discounts, loss leader technique, all these are part of promotional pricing. Okay, so how many do we have for when it comes to pricing? 4. Fifth one is called cost plus pricing. This one depends on how much, usually used by retailers, this one. So what they do is that how much money went to buying the product, they would add a percentage to it, and then they would resell it. So let's say it cost them this black rectangle, they would add this orange rectangle to it. That's their profit, that markup, and then their selling price would be the markup and the cost. So this technique is called cost plus pricing. It covers all the cost and it's good. You know how much profit you're making and all, and you have a formula to how you do the calculation for markup pricing. But you have to do this one carefully. If you have more costs, listen carefully. If your cost is higher than the cost of your competitors, then you cannot add any markup to it. So if you ignore the market condition, you might have a business that will fail. Okay? So you might have to use this technique in regards to these other techniques as well. See what your competitors are able to sell the products for. Then use this technique. Because if this selling price is high because your cost was high, then there is no point to your business. Your business is useless, basically. Okay, so how do we choose these methods? It depends on some factors, one of which is the products you're making new, like this one? If it is, then you might tilt towards price skimming, something like that, to recover the cost that went into making the product and also to give it a really good quality image and so on. Is it unique? Same thing. You might tilt towards price skimming. What is the level of competition? If it's high, then maybe penetration pricing or competitive pricing or promotional pricing. Do you have a really good brand image? If yes, then maybe price skimming. Cost. Did a lot of costs go into producing the product? Yes, then high selling price, price skimming. What is your objective? If your objective is long-term comfortable profit, then maybe competitive pricing or price skimming. If your if your aim goal is short-term maximization of profit, so maybe price skimming. So what do you want to achieve? If you want a big chunk of the market, meaning having a big market share, then low prices, maybe competitive pricing in that case, or promotional pricing. Listen, guys, some businesses do this. They think long term. So what they argue is that I'm going to sacrifice my profit today for long-term profit in the future. So what they do is to use promotional pricing and even sell their products for a loss. Okay? So people buy them because they're cheap, they gain a lot of loyal customers, and what they do is that in the future they're going to increase their prices, recovering the loss that they incurred initially and starting to make a lot of profit. Let me tell you which people do this. Usually the hyper rich who have a lot of backup money. So incurring loss at the moment wouldn't damage them personally a lot. They can take it. And also businesses who are making multiple different products, some of which might be making profit. Okay. So they do make money, but they're creating a name for their business. That's why they say the wheel of success, once it starts rolling, then it's going to roll big time. Because I'm making a lot of profit, then what that enables me to do is to make decisions like this, meaning, i.e., the technique that I just told you, operating in a loss for a while until you dominate a big chunk of the market share, and then increase sales and profit again. Okay, so last piece we talked about was price elasticity of demand. Listen, really easy concept. Let's say I'm selling tomatoes, $1 a kilo today. Can I increase my selling price by 100% and sell it for $2 a kilo? It wouldn't be a major issue, right? Some people do it, they get away with it, and they increase their profit by 100%. When can I do this? If the circumstances allow for it. Let's say I have a store close to people's houses, so it's convenient for them to buy it. I can do this. Two things allow me to do this. One, tomatoes, it's a necessity. So I wouldn't stop eating tomatoes just because its price went up by 100%. Two, which is kind of comes with the first point, is that it's already cheap. Like if I pay $1, paying $3, $4 wouldn't be an issue. Like it's just $2. Some people wouldn't care. The alternative to, okay, I'm not going to buy tomatoes today, is to go and find a cheaper place and, drive around places, go to other places and change my plan for the day. Some people, they don't care, let's say. Okay, so if that is the case, the tomatoes, I would call them price inelastic. inelastic, which means the responsiveness to change in quantity demanded is not greater than the percentage change in price. So PED would be small. Okay, so once you understand the first example, then understanding the graph and this formula would be very easy. I changed the tomatoes price by 100%. So this percentage change, the denominator is high, okay? Which means PED would be low. Whenever denominator is high, PED would be low. So there's a change, there might be a change in demand. Like you might have some people who would not, agree to any change in price because they don't want to be fooled. They wouldn't care about the price, right, the money, but they just wouldn't be fooled. They're not comfortable with being played with, Some people might be like that. So there might be a change in demand, but it's not greater than the change in price. So PED would be low. So PED low, tomatoes. Steep line. Because why would the line be steep if I have a graph of quantity and price? Because quantity demanded would be small, but price changed a lot, 100% from $1 to $2 for the 1 kilo of tomatoes. But how many people stop buying tomatoes from me? It might be some people, but not a lot. If that is the case, then you made more profit. Why am I talking about this in the context of price? I'm telling you, sometimes if you feel like your customers would not stop buying things from you in the long run, and you feel like you have the opportunity to do this, if you know your PED is low, less than one, then increase your price because you make more profit. Another example, so bottled water is another example. Cinema tickets is price elastic. Increase its price by 10% because it's a luxury. I can live without going to the cinema. Then it's very price sensitive. Then your percentage change in demand could change by a lot. You had a very small percentage change in price of the ticket, but a lot of people stop going to the cinema because of it. So PED would be high. So quantity demand, so the line would be gradient like this, and the change in demand would be high from this point till this point for a very small percentage change in price from that point to this point here. Okay, so if I have city cinema, I would pay attention to any changes to my price, to my tickets, something that they have paid attention to, by the way. They haven't changed their prices for a very long time since it was established because they know a lot of people look at it as a luxury and they might stop going to the cinema because of that. And last slide, I gave you the example of Uber and how they're taking advantage of the price of Uber changing during different times of the day. During rush hour, Uber would be more expensive. Normal times, less expensive. Airlines use the same technique as well. During holidays, Christmas, Jejun, price of tickets would be high. Normal times, low. Reason is they know even if they increase their prices, people would still use them because they have to, because they will. And so what is my conclusion from this last example of Uber? Sometimes you don't have your product being price elastic forever or being price inelastic forever. It changes based on the circumstances. Okay, the airlines and the Uber are two really good examples for that. Okay, guys, so listen to what we're going to do. So this was our last lesson, as I told you, review. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. We might have our own Zoom meeting, like one-on-one Zoom meetings together. I can explain things again. In the upcoming days, I'm going to send you what you should focus on from section 1 and 2. And I'm going to find the slides to the lessons that we did, to our lessons, and then I'm going to send you those slides as well. You just have to be patient. And it's about time you start reviewing for business studies and preparing for your exam, by the way. Okay, so I'm done. If you don't have any questions, we're done for today. Thank you.